Good evening and welcome to the grand final of season 14 of the CM0102 Super League on a weekend where two of the biggest names in sports entertainment are making all the headlines. And no, I'm not talking about Randy Orton and CM Punk returning to WWE. I'm talking about two men who have been there, done it, and certainly got the t-shirts. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, only one of which has made it into the lobby, but it is an absolute privilege and delight to welcome from Burn HQ, Mr. Edwards. Good evening, sir. Welcome to Grand Final night.
Hi, mate. Thanks for having us. Yeah, I feel a bit exposed being the only finalist, putting his face on the show tonight.
Mr. Campbell has been very quiet since getting to the final, and I've not heard. He submitted a team to me yesterday, and I've not heard from him since. He's been sent the link. I don't even believe he posted his team out on Twitter. So I do hope everything's okay. But yes, delighted that you're able to join me. And we were just having a little chat off screen. You were saying, despite your wealth of experience at this now, it never gets any easier.
No, I think I said to you, I feel every sort of minute of the season, doesn't matter whether it's game week 1, game week 14, whether you're second, third, bottom, mid-table. It gets around to your match and it's horrible. Always, every moment is squeaky bum time. But when it's the only match of the night and it's the big one, you find yourself preparing throughout the day, try to just sort of do a few bits and bobs, take your mind off it, have a bit of read of a book or watch a couple of comedies on telly. Hope the day goes a bit faster and we can get to it, It's
And what have you opted for this time around?
I've been rewatching the first series of The Trip with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon half the day, and then the other half of the day reading Ed Edmondson's autobiography. So just try to have a bit of a laugh and keep it light.
It's very interesting getting into the psyche of what people do. You're, of course, infamous for standing behind the chair. It's quite often referred to, even when you're not on comms, that you'll be stood behind your chair. Is this still something we can look forward to seeing this evening, or have you adopted a new tactic this year?
No, always behind the chair, mate. Yeah, it's it's served me well for a long time now, so stick with it.
It certainly has. I have to ask you, we put out on socials earlier to get a feel for what people think. And this is the only time, although quite close, I think this is the only time I can recall you've not gone into a final as favourites.
Yeah, I mean, I still think 42% there is generous. I think Haggis have, apart from, I think, one game at the Furnace, they've steamrolled the whole season. One of that 42% was me, because I'm always going to back myself. So realistically, that's probably a little bit skewed the numbers as well. Yeah, I think it's a massive ask. They're in form. We're not. We've stumbled our way through. Everyone knows that not all my best players are completely fit or completely available. So it's been a case of last 2 or 3 weeks of the season and then the playoffs, managing kind of catastrophic training ground incidents where all my players seem to want to write each other out of the next match. But yeah, we'll give it our best shot. I've had some lovely messages from a lot of people today, wishing me the best. So for everyone who wants us to do well, we'll certainly be giving it our best shot.
And does this opportunity for history just increase that pressure that someone as passionate as you feels, this chance to become a three-star manager?
No,
three-star team?
I don't think about amount of stars or anything like that. I've thrown away enough semis, quarters, first place positions on the last day of the season to know that you just isolate everything and go. I mean, it is a cliche, isn't it? That sort of one game at a time thing, but it's keeping a level head and keeping cool. I mean, it's the first various reasons this season have conspired. Like I haven't had a working copy of the game for a long time. I've got to give a massive shout out to Dan Haynes, who I met at the kickabout that we had for Smoke, which was a fantastic day. And I mentioned that since I'd updated my Mac, I haven't been able to get Champ working. And he says, "Don't worry about it, mate. I'll send you a laptop." And he sent me a laptop with the starter pack loaded up, the whole lot. So I've got me transfer targets for next season sorted. I've been able to have a look at various bits and bobs for Swemp and stuff like that.
Superb.
And yeah,
he's a nice guy as well, isn't he, Dan?
Absolute legend. And but having said all that, it's the first season, and I know I am Mr. As Is and all that sort of stuff, but I always send in tactic files and I always send in tweaks and things like that. It's the first time I've ever, and probably the first time anyone's ever, gone from week one to the grand final with the same tactic file. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Ian's played this season not far behind as well. That piss flaps file that he's had going for quite a long time that they set up. So it's what works, isn't it?
Absolutely. Just seeing Duggan saying there regarding Dan, a genuinely lovely bloke. Shame he's not amongst it next season. Yeah, he is. He's very, very high, it's fair to say, on my list of people should a position become available next season. So I don't think it'll be too long before Dan is back amongst it. 10 minutes of general chit chat then, sir. Should we move towards a bit of action? I've been last hour to 90 minutes. I've been sharing various stats and stuff about the season. So if you haven't seen them yet, head over to our socials after this broadcast and check out the season in numbers. But let's just remind people of the rules of tonight's game. So the foreign rule is irrelevant because no one has anyone that's not classed as Australian. It's golden goal, extra time. Excuse me. If scores are level after 90 minutes, a penalty shootout if scores remain the same. 5 substitutes named and maximum 3 used. Past meetings, so you've met 4 times this year, and you have You have lost the last 3 of those. But you're not necessarily one who worries too much about past form, are you?
I'd be more concerned about Haggis's form over the piece. It's been pretty relentless. Normally, you look at. I always think the secret of finishing top 2 in a season is to manage that one blip that every club has in a season, and I think it's the first time I can probably remember that anyone has kind of not really had a blip. They recovered pretty much straight away from when they got beaten at the Furnace.
Yep.
So you can't really count that as a blip, because I think it was a one-off. There wasn't a run of form there. It's just been relentless. So no, I take comfort in that. But then again, we're at their spot where we haven't won. So yeah, we'll see.
Okay, well, let's start by having a look at your team then. As you alluded to, and as was made clear when you posted on social media, Totti and Ortega both keep their places. They came back with the orange injuries against Sancte. They have maintained their orange injury status, but not players that you were prepared to lose for this game.
No, because it would have just meant taking 2 huge sets of numbers out of the team for a big game. They had to stay in there, even if they were on crutches. Yeah, just see that message from me, and yeah, best of luck as well, mate. Yeah, hope everything's all right. I mean, I'm only missing Fiore. Really, 3 injured players would have been overkill. Keane comes back in for Makaleli, who actually
that's a massive return for you, isn't it?
It is. I mean, again, it's a change, and ordinarily I don't like change, but you can't not put Keane in for Makaleli. The problem is I am taking out a guy who played fantastically well in the last match.
Yeah.
So that it was an obvious one that I had to make that change, but it was with a heavy heart that Makaleli was dropped.
Did you consider giving him a place on the bench?
No, the bench for me is all about covering positions, especially when you get to 5. And Raymer has done really well for me this season, and he can cover. It basically means I've got every position on the pitch covered from the bench if Raymer goes in ahead of Makaleli.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's have a look then at your elusive opposition. This is the confirmed team, and the big news going into it is that Vieri picked up a training ground injury, but has been deemed by his manager available to play. Cannavaro suspended is huge news. That means Kufre comes into partner Samuel. Let's start with that headline news. Vieri, 90% orange injury. Obviously, Ian's decided to take the same risk you are, but being not 100%, that must boost your confidence a little bit.
Well, if you look at who's playing alongside him, I mean, they're not short of goals anyway, are they? I think a 90% Vieri is. I mean, I don't know, what part of the body is injured or anything like that, but if he's 90% and he's got a broken fingernail, then probably all right. But no, I think I'd still be just as concerned, because they've got that 2 up top working really well, and the fella in behind them has been absolutely on fire. So yeah, it's probably the first time I can ever remember 3 orange injured players
starting a final,
starting a match in this league, because it doesn't really you don't really often see anyone injured playing. So yeah, it's a funny one.
Just goes to show the timing of when and who. That obviously after this they've got the whole summer to recover, so the manager's quite happy to take that risk. But you're right, to have such key players as well that have got those injuries being rolled out because it's the final. It certainly adds a fascinating dynamic. Let's head over then to the match centre, as it is the final. much to your bemusement. I'm sure I'll let you take your position behind the chair. I will slow the whole commentary down to just fast. One game this evening. As Ian said in the chat, hopefully we get a game that befits the occasion. To both yourself, Ian, and to the other Ian, I wish you both the very best of luck in this Super League Grand Final. Alf already saying it's gusty weather, keeper's nightmare, goal galore. Let's see if he's right as we kick off this Grand Final. Van Nistelrooy and Vieri starting very quickly, but they failed to convert that opportunity in the first minute. Here comes Montella with a chance himself, potentially. And then Ortega picks up. And Totti, save, lets it run free. But Kufre gets in the way. 2 minutes, and already both sides have had big chances. There's Van Nistelrooy. Terrible effort. If this is the pace that these two sides are going to play this final out at, we could be in for one of the greatest of all time. Montero getting in the way. And now Van Nistelrooy, Del Vecchio, but Keane blocks it. And Lopez gets it to Montella. Free kick awarded to the away side. Totti now, Montella, but Perez and Duff managed to combine to get rid of it. Del Vecchio, Scholes in the way. Vieri, Zanetti, but he puts it wide. Only just past the 10-minute mark. Pulsating action, end-to-end action as well. Vieri goes into the book. Free kick to Byrne. Lopez, Montella, robbed by Thuram. Del Vecchio now coming forward for the home side, and that's gone over. Some sighters for sure for both teams. Ortega moved too soon offside, and from the resultant free kick, Haggis go forward, get themselves a free kick. Now Thuram, Lopez, Candea, Montella, and it's out to Duff over the bar. Chances galore. And here comes Zanetti, Vieri, just over the bar. Half an hour just approaching. Oh, could we have a red? It is a red. Gomez has kicked out. Half an hour. And the Haggis defensive midfielder has had an absolute mad one and has got himself sent off. Ian, obviously you will be afforded the opportunity to amend things if you would so like. We will wait to see what your opposite number wants to do first. I actually think you might potentially just take the arrows off and go as is. I don't see in a final he's going to be taking off either of those two strikers. Oof indeed, Dimble. Oof indeed. Ian, if I could just ask you while we wait for that information, how have you, has it been endured, the right word, for that first half an hour?
Oh, it's been frantic, hasn't it? And I think we see the detail more because we're on that fast mode, and it's even more grueling to watch than normal because it has been so end-to-end.
So it's Santos for Del Vecchio and swapping him with sides. They're going without an attacking midfielder. Would you like to amend anything?
No, thanks, mate.
Okay. Just confirm that change there. So it's Santos for Del Vecchio and swap Santos and Said. Interesting that he is taking off the attacking midfielder for me. I think that there's a big gap there now. And where is everything reliant on them wingers to supply now for the two strikers? I'll just let Ian confirm that is what he wanted, because he never actually said drag Santos back, but I'm presuming that's what he means. Mike just sending emojis. Alf suggesting that the weather is what's caused the incident. Let's confirm that. Santos for Del Vecchio. And let's resume the action. Can Byrne take advantage with the extra man now? Here's Totti, fouled by Zanetti. Free kick, Ortega. Montella, saved, corner. Lopez, cleared. Now Van Nistelrooy and Vieri working it between themselves, but Montero and Thuram doing their job. Free kick, though, to Haggis. Van Nistelrooy using his skill. Van Nistelrooy goes for the top corner, but Mike Duff gets his body in the way. Keane picks up the loose ball off Zanetti. And now Lopez, Duff, Duff is shooting from everywhere, it seems tonight. He wants to be the man. 4 minutes of time added on. We're into those now as Haggis come forward. Perez, Vieri. Keane does well. Free kick though, Scholes, and straight into the keeper. We have played the 4 minutes. We're at the referee's mercy now. And there's the halftime whistle. Martin saying that Jeremy Oliphant wears Mike Dean pajamas. The whistle has gone in. You can relax for a moment or two as we bring up the halftime stats. 6 attempts to the home side, but only 1 on target. We have seen plenty going over the bar primarily. We're looking at Burn as well. 4 attempts for yourselves, 2 of those on target. Yes, I agree, Alf. A lot of ballooning it over the bar. Mike Duff in particular, determined to score tonight. As I start to bring up the player ratings, we'll go to your opposition first, Ian. But again, I asked you at 30 minutes, how are you feeling at halftime?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I thought we were in it a little bit more than those numbers suggested. I'd like to be a little more competitive on the tackle count, but at least they're having to make plenty of tackles.
Absolutely. I will bring your stats up so you can have a look. Probably, I'm going to presume, too many 6s for your liking on such a big occasion.
Too many 6s, not enough touches of the ball, maybe. Yeah, it's not an awful lot happening down the left-hand side, but we'll obviously be going as is, please. As
is the word. Ian is already retaking his position behind the chair. We will give his counterpart just another minute or two to make any half-time changes. Interesting. Let's just go back to the match report, and I did see it was a kick out at the time. Here we go. So yes, he's just kicked out at Scholes. There was no real reason for it, it would appear. Absolute moment of madness. Ian saying roll to 60 as well. So let's resume the action in this very, very interesting Super League Grand Final. Totti picks it up. Candea, Montella. But now Haggis get the ball. Can they counter? Oh, Kufre has picked up a knock. It goes from bad to worse for Haggis as they now have an injury. I would imagine that they're going to straight swap in to well, I presume it's to Tradsi. Alf wondering who's playing with the wind advantage in the second half. He's adamant that the weather plays a key part in these games. But another alteration for Haggis. Is it all falling apart for them just at the wrong moment? Suddenly players not able to complete the 90. Already having to make a tactical change. Martin agrees. Oof, the CM God's not smiling on Haggis today. Rock suggesting gamble with Guede and 1 at the back. Injuries we don't make tactical changes for. Only suspensions and tactical timings. Half-time is 60 minutes. So he can, of course, bring Guede on, but he'd have to play centre-back until the hour mark. But yes, interesting to see what Ian does here. That might be something we look at for the new season. Alf saying Perez is injury prone too. Well, I can do that, but only if you're happy for him to play centre-back till 60 minutes. Yes, that can happen. Said can go to centre-back. And someone into DMC, of course. That's perfectly fine. That's not a tactical change. Again, yes, that's fine. But that would have to be at 60. Are you happy to play him at centre-back till then? Or do you want to do something different and then bring him on? Yes, I would like to, Martin. I'm just waiting clarification on exactly what people, or I say people, Ian wants to do. Fortune favours the brave. I'm a big advocate for this. Would it be sort of derailing for you if you were to have red cards and injuries in the final like this, Ian?
Well, yeah, derailing for anybody, isn't it? You plan for the team that you put out to play the 90, all being well, don't you?
No, 100%. So for the other Ian, if you just confirm, if you want him to go in the centre back till 60, that's fine, or if you're doing something else. Al suggesting 3 up front and who fit, obviously because of the wind. Just wait for Ian to confirm that that's definitely what he wants to do, because I don't necessarily think that is what he wants to do. What's the chances, given that his earlier messages, he's only watching it, he's not listening to it and doesn't know that I've said no? Yeah. Ask him if he's listening to. Tell me about it, Tato. He said it's like VAR, this. Rock's also telling Ian. Can't imagine this is doing much for your nerves either, waiting for Ian to decide. Right, so he's now putting the sound on. So to clarify, Ian, because it's an injury, you can't make any tactical amendments. You can move people into the positions they're in now, but tactical changes can't happen until 60. So you can bring Grade A on, but you'd have to play centre-back or DM or somewhere else until the 60-minute mark. Okay, so he's going as expected. We've got Tchadze coming on and swapping with Saeed into there. Thank you very much. Crimbo up already? Yeah, I'm sure it was up for the last one, if not 2 streams. Ours normally goes up mid-November, the same. Okay, cancel. The torture isn't over yet, I'm afraid. Yeah, so our tree goes up the same time as the local town Christmas light switch on, which is normally the same night as Children in Need. So generally ours is up from mid-November. So we're cancelling this. Martin says stop the count. It is still November. That is factually correct. It's also Sunday, if that has any relevance. Although it won't be if Ian takes much longer taking this fucking substitution. No, Ian, you can't move people to AM. Literally said you can't do tactical changes until 60. You would think the amount of times he's been playing this and in the final, he would understand the rules by now. You have no one in AM. Well, I hope so. Duggan says he doesn't think he can hear me. I hope so. He said he was putting his sound up. Just in case, I will put in the chat. You cannot do that. 12 days of Christmas, none of which are in November. He's having a crisis at home. I'm sorry to hear that. He's going back to his original idea. There we go. Right, let's resume. Beyond the de-icer. Ortega with the latest shot on goal. Indirect free kick given. Scholes, Montero. Ortega picks up, surely, and Burn take the lead. And it is Ortega who scores on 53 minutes. What do Haggis have about them now? Man down, goal down. Oh, it's 2! And it's Totti. And I believe that's both the players that were injury doubts going into the game that have scored. It has all fallen apart for Haggis here. They look to get one back before the hour. Free kick awarded. Buffon with the save. We reached the hour mark. Wow. They have one sub left. We presume... Steve saying, not the best Ortega ever, but the most important one. We presume Haggis are about to go 1 at the back and 3 up top. Haggis, Steve Martin, Gio, DMC, says Duggan. Ian, of course, we're at the hour point. While we wait for your counterpart, I will just show him his conditions. Are you considering changes here?
Not unless something's not right on my screen.
Okay. Let's flash yours up for you to have a look. Ratings-wise, they've certainly improved in last 15 minutes. Condition-wise, Keane dropping to 78. Everyone else pretty... Oh, and Ortega dropping to 78 as well. Everyone else holding firm.
Nothing for me, mate. Thanks.
No changes at Burn HQ. So it's all now down to what Haggis do. Rox is guessing Saeed off for Guede, possibly. Yeah, no worries. There's your screen there for you. Who was that with the... Oh, no, that's for the red card. I was like, who's picked up a 5 rating? It dropped down. Asna Evening saying Ortega's had great playoff run. So, how are the nerves holding up with half an hour to play, Ian?
Not very well, mate.
Even 2 goals to the good? And a man advantage?
No. Let's just wait 30 more minutes.
Is that for Ian to make his change or in game?
It sounds like he's got a lot going on, bless him. So
it certainly does. We'll afford him all the time he requires. Big game this. Last game of the season. Trophy in the balance. 2 goals down, a man down. Can Ian somehow save his season? See, sad news today about Terry Venables passing away. A lot of people reminiscing particularly about Euro 96 and how people of a certain generation said that's when they were getting into football and how he brought the country together. So we pass on our condolences and best wishes to his family. Were you into the international scene during that era, Ian?
Absolutely, yeah. It's probably not the main thing that sticks out for me about Venables, though. Venables is one of those like Bobby Robson who went off and sort of proved it in other countries or for massive teams. And you know, you look at what people like Guardiola are doing now at Man City, and these guys sort of like when they were just up and coming footballers, they looked up to people like Venables for their tactical nous and the way they managed a squad. That's kind of what sticks out for me about someone like Venables is the respect that you get worldwide.
Yeah. Ian is trying to make a 4th sub, so I just need to clarify again exactly what he wants to do, because of course you can only make 3 subs. He is already congratulating though and chuffed that you've got 3 stars. He thinks it's game over. So just wait for clarity, because he's asked for Robert for Perez, but he's also asked for Guede for Saeed and grade A into AMC. So I can only do one of those two things. A lot can happen in 30 minutes, says Mr. Savage, and cancel the Rob Air one. So we are going like this. And Alf saying that he was a class player too. So a tactical change for Haggis. Nothing from Burn. Half an hour to play. Can the home side get themselves back in this? 20 minutes now to play. Nothing happening. This will please Mr. Edwards on co-coms. Van Nistelrooy picks it up though. Zanetti. Van Nistelrooy. Scholes though picks it up. Indirect free kick given. Samuel heads it clear. Into the final 10 minutes. Into the final 5 minutes. And here come Burn again. Surely they've won this. Are they going to make it 3? No. Montella offside. 3 minutes being added on. We're into those, or just approaching those 3 minutes. As Haggis tried to come forward. Throw in. Perez. Free kick awarded. We're now into injury time. Perez. And it's cleared. And on the counter-attack, could not convert. But that should be it. One last chance. Just for a consolation maybe for the home side. Free kick awarded. And fine save from Buffon. There's no time for the corner. The final is done. And Mr. Edwards, you have won the grand final again. Just took a moment off screen to compose himself. You can see in your face exactly what it means to you. What's your instant full time on the whistle reaction, Ian?
That's the best one. That's the one.
Means the most.
Yeah, that's the best one. That away from home against an absolute steamrolling team. They've had nothing go for them tonight, which I feel for him. I imagine Ian's probably there at home having the season he's had, which you've got to congratulate him on. His, red cards, injuries. He's probably juggling grandkids. Bless him. I feel for him, and I've got to congratulate him on his season. He's got a good team there. You got to give a shout out to Rocks. Got to give a massive shout out to PRG as well. They've all done a cracking job. But yeah, that means a lot. Not
only can we see it, we can actually hear the emotion in your voice there. Just having a look at the match stats, you want it to be more competitive, and you can see that shots on goal certainly improved, on target certainly improved, and that Haggis certainly played their part. It wasn't a one-sided affair by any stretch of the imagination, and perhaps even with the man advantage, you could have made it a bit easier for yourselves. But that was a final befitting of the season.
Yeah, it's a microcosm of our season. I've gone 90 minutes without ruffling anything. Just the same as the whole season's been pretty much gone unchanged. I'm seeing some of these messages. I don't have the chat on, but I'm seeing a lot of these messages coming through, and I'd like to say thanks to everyone, because everyone's been so nice this last couple of days, sending their good luck messages and all that, and it's very much appreciated. We've got a good bunch in this league, and yeah, love to you all. Thank you. Am I on?
Well, that was new.
I didn't know I was on or not. I just tried to keep as still as I could in case I was back in the lobby or in case,
So out of nowhere, Windows decided to try and start installing updates onto my laptop and restarted everything. Sincerest apologies, but you'll be pleased to know everything's fine. The game's still there. Nothing's happened. Nothing's crashed. It's all still there. So apologies, but it just in keeps with the carnage that's been this season that the final couldn't go off without a hitch.
Yeah, it's been a funny old season, hasn't it? I mean, we start off with 4 lads who've done an absolutely fantastic job of getting us rattling along. We end with you, who's done a fantastic job of steadying the ship and sailing us home. We've got, say, a great bunch of guys in charge of all the teams as well. It's gone all right in the end, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And does that, because I know we had a brief chat maybe a week or so ago, and you were talking about depending on what happens with the future and depends on what you decide to do. But does winning it again re-energize you and you're ready to go again?
I think I probably mentioned to you, and I've mentioned to a lot of people, my main motivation, being such a control freak, is not letting anyone else have Northern Burn. If we were going to a new save and you got a 14th guy in, they could have a completely different team, then I would have a question to answer, because I've been around like a bad smell for long enough now. But no one's getting my team, and I'll do what I want to do with my team. So yeah, it's a funny one, because normally I'm galvanised by transfers, and I'm probably the only one, judging by all the chat, who hasn't done about 50 transfers so far this season. In fact, I think I've done 1. So it's not even that's getting me going next season. But this will, yeah, I mean, we'll log off tonight. I'll enjoy doing myself a new badge. That'll be nice. That'll be probably the nicest badge I'll have done. And then, yeah, probably tomorrow I'll look at it and think, right, what's next?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's worth actually at this point talking about the future and what's to come. So as we spoke about previously, we'll all take a week off now. We'll have a week to properly celebrate Burn's title win. I'm hoping to see little bits of content and season review stuff and all the stats stuff that's gone out. Swan's been doing an incredible job. Huge congratulations as well to our 2 new Hall of Fame inductees, it has to be said. So yeah, we'll all take a week to relax, refresh, and then the following week we'll start processing, ready for the new season. For the benefit of those watching who are interested in what goes on, there was some discussion from a couple of managers about wanting to vote on what happens next. So without a viable alternative to what I'd already put forward, I put forward 2 differing options for the 14 managers specifically to vote on, which had various differences, and barring a couple of bits of feedback which were of interest from people and comments based on what was put forward, which I'll take under consideration and advisement moving forward. I can reveal that it was quite what's the word I'm looking for? It was quite conclusive which one the current managers wanted to do, which is option 2. They wanted to keep the current 14 in place, keep the 2 streams just for the Super League, and go forward pretty much with a similar model of what we've got now. So that is what we will do. So when I start processing it, get past the World Cup and get past the end of season save, there will be an email out to everyone, so you'll get the fresh stats and updated stats of all the players, and we'll process the transfers, looking to get going again in December. But let's see if you can defend your title, Ian. But I have to say, as someone who's kind of been there or thereabouts on your journey the whole time since you came in, right back in the BTEC days, I'm absolutely buzzing for you.
Oh, thanks, mate. No, I appreciate that. It's coming from you. That's it does mean something, that, because when I was just watching it on, little video clips, you were the one that reached out and had a crack with me and had a chat about Champ and about the Super League and that, and got me feeling involved. And then obviously from there on, Boise reached out further again. But if it hadn't been for you having those sort of original conversations with me about just general Super League and general Champ, I probably wouldn't even be here now. So thanks, mate.
No, mate, that's all on you, that is. And that's what we aim to do. We hope to find ways of bringing people on board and getting more and more people interested, hoping to get the message of what it's done for our little group of people over the last couple of years and spreading that as far and wide as possible. So hopefully in the new season we can do that. But again, huge congratulations, buddy. Absolutely buzzing for you. Free time burn. And we look forward to a week's rest before we start processing. I can see Doug. So transfers of 4+3 with the new managers. Is that locked in? Yes, that's right. So to clarify, the voted for transfer policy was everyone gets four deals. It could be 4 with one club. It can be however you want to do that, plus a bonus deal with each of the 3 new managers at Stackington, LSK, and Exiles. So established managers get 7 in total, and if my maths is right, that will mean the new managers will get 17, essentially, in the hope that they could build their own squads. But hopefully, again, it was almost unanimous that managers wanted that version. So that is, I think it finished something like, again, I've got to get my maths right, I think it was like 11-3 in favour of that option. So hopefully that'll please the most managers, and we can look forward to season 15. Any final words from our champion?
I say commiserations to Haggis. Fantastic season. I mean, there's definitely an argument for saying they were the best team this year, but we are in the sort of like the lottery stages of the season, and I've benefited from that. Thanks to everyone for being involved. Class bunch. Thanks to the 4 lads who started it off this season. Fantastic job. Say thanks to you, mate, for bringing it home. Shout out to Hodgie and to Craig when Swan messaged me to say, what do you think? I said, yeah, that's the 2 I'd have gone for. So there's someone else who continues to do a cracking job as well. There's, everyone.
I have had confirmation from the legend that is Swanee that he's very much sticking around. He didn't want a full-time manager's job, but he's very much sticking around to do what he does best, and that is bring the best facts and figures for all Super League content. So looking forward to see what he comes up with.
Brilliant.
Ian, thank you for coming on. Congratulations again. Commiserations to Ian, and I hope whatever chaos and carnage you're dealing with at home, it's not too serious, and you're able to resolve it quite quickly. Thank you to everyone for your kind comments over the last couple of weeks since I took back the save and started hosting it. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy your week's break, and we'll see you for season 15 of what has to be the greatest nostalgia football trip on this earth. From myself and from Ian, until next season, goodbye.
Cheers. Goodbye.